poll I gave last week.
I've been listening to talk radio, and there's a difference going on in the world of politics with the politicians in Washington and those in talk radio. Now, I'd like to take a little time at the top of the show to explain this a little bit. In politics, they realize on the right they got their tails whipped, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they could look into the future and say this might become a trend because we have alienated a big portion of the population. In the past, that was okay because we didn't need blacks. We didn't need Hispanics. Okay? We didn't need the youth vote because we had the white vote and they were solidly behind us. But there's not enough of them, and we don't get 100%. So now these other groups we ignored and even persecuted are now significant enough to put us in the minority. And certainly when it comes to a national election, they're significant enough that we may never win again. So now they're changing their tune. Now they're moderating. Now they're saying, well, maybe Hispanics aren't all that bad, folks. Maybe we ought to think about immigration reform and a pathway to citizenship. And maybe we ought to think about compromising on this fiscal cliff and maybe some more revenue from the upper 1% may not be bad. They're changing because they realize they have to for survival reasons. Now, if they are going to become the Democratic Party light, where's this leave those on the extreme right? And that is the message.
Out in the cold.
That is how guys like Rush Limbaugh and all the copycats below him, that's how they survive. That's how they keep millions listening each and every day. By conjuring up this evil left, this villain, this comic book villain that we must fight, and it's the honorable, just, holy fight, and that's how we keep the armies out there committed to tuning in each day and keeping our ratings up. It's all about this, folks. Now, they are panicking because they see their party, the structure that they have to support with their message on air, moving to the left to survive politically. And they're like, we can't do that.
Well,
you know what? If I start talking like that on the air, all my true believers are going to start tuning out. I've told them that we must be purist. We must never compromise because our foe is evil and we must conquest. We must defeat the foe. And they're freaking out because their political party, what they have to back is moderating for survival's sake, at least in message. And yet they have to somehow keep their base, who they've brainwashed into believing this is life and death, that we must stay as extreme right as possible, because we are right. We are right about everything. If we compromise with the evil ones, then maybe we're saying we're wrong. And they're freaking out. They don't know how to handle this. And it's got to be freaking out all those people they sold on this message. Now maybe minorities aren't ruining the country. There's plenty of people who listen to these talk show hosts who believe, yeah, the big problem in this country is minorities. If we somehow keep them out, or if we kept them out, the country would be a lot better off. I mean, they really believe this. And now they're watching their party saying, well, maybe they're not so bad. Maybe we ought to have some immigration reform. Maybe we ought to stop persecuting. And it's freaking them out. Can this party change into something that's appealing to everybody? Or will they go away of the dodo? And it's got to go beyond the just rhetoric. If they don't actually do something to back up what they say they believe, then we know they're just being phonies and they're just vying for votes. You have to back it up with policy. You have to back it up with the laws you make to prove that you really changed. Do you really feel this now? And there are going to be those who say, no compromise. Is there going to be a split in the Republican Party?
Wait for that to happen.
Is there going to be the Republican Democratic Party light? And
I want to see it.
the staunch right-wingers who hold on to dear life right to the end as the whites dwindle as the years go by? Will this cause another party to rise up? Maybe like the Libertarian Party and become more popular. There is great upheaval going on. And